Don Global presents the DG Recruit podcast on everything headhunting and recruitment. Achieve the life and career you envision. What's up, game changers? It's your host, Don, founder of Don Global, the headhunting and career coaching company helping you achieve the life and career you envision. In today's DG Recruit episode, I'll cover a few book recommendations to check out as someone who recently started creating your career in headhunting. Since I do so much content creation on headhunting as a subject and helping recruiters get better at their job, I would love to tell you which books really helped me in my life and give you examples of how they contributed to my ability to do my job better. The first book I'd love to recommend to you focuses on mindset. As many of you may already know, mindset is something that's crucial to succeed, not only in life, but certainly financially and just in general. I think mindset is the starting point, is the core of what you end up becoming. In high school, like many of you may have already heard from my daily Don podcast series, I was a miserable, introverted, socially anxious, and awkward teen. And I had a few traumatic experiences happen to me, including being caught shoplifting and thrown into a jail cell for almost a whole, afternoon. And it was a lesson that really taught me the importance of my mind and what was happening internally started manifesting externally. So it's crucial to clear your mind and to really start thinking along the positive route of how you want to be, what kind of life you ultimately want to live. The first book I recommend is See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. It's a book that mainly focuses on mindset from what I remember. Now, I lent this book to somebody, I don't even know who, and now I don't know where it is anymore. I need to actually order another copy and reread it. But at the time when I read Zig Ziglar's book, it taught me a few things. One, that you can absolutely be who you want to be. It's all in your mind. This is a concept that we are not taught our entire lives. Nobody ever believes that we can be what we want to be because society wants you to be what they want you to be. Your parents, your teachers, your professors, your family, extended family, your friends, everyone has their own sort of mainstream thinking that really confines people to be middle of the pack. And so you rarely hear of people who encourage you to think bigger than that. And that's a big complaint that I had growing up because I always thought, why are you trying to make me become a doctor or a lawyer? That's very common with Asian Americans like myself, right? Like, why do I have to do that? I don't want to do that. In fact, in high school, I wanted to be a Chinese pop star. I was really good at singing. I still am. And it was one of my top talents. And I thought I could do it. And I probably could have if I believed in myself, but I didn't because I believed everyone else when they told me that I was not good enough and when they told me that I was ugly and fat. So I believed them. And so that really killed my dreams from a very young standpoint and really set the stage for why I was so miserable for most of my adolescent life. And as I got older, especially after college and I was seeking answers, See You at the Top really set the tone for me. Zig Ziglar really talks about when you have an idea, when you have a vision, you need to go out there and make it happen. Almost like you're going to lead your troops to the war. And when you get to the intended target, you're going to burn all your ships behind you. You're not looking back. There is no backtracking. And that thought, while it's scary, was really inspiring. That's so true because if you want to win the war, you cannot afford to have an exit option. You cannot afford to have a plan B, which all the time we are always living our plan B. And I certainly was living my plan C even. I never really went for plan A. And so See You at the Top told me that, hey, you're entitled to dreaming. You're entitled to having your own ideas of what you want out of life. You can do that. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing and live by those values. You can think for yourself. You can have your own dreams. You can create your own thoughts. You can do that. You're entitled to that as a human, and you can make it come true because that is what all the successful people have done. They have made their lives come true in whatever shape or form. So See You at the Top, I would highly suggest that to everyone just to start reading and learn more about your mindset. Secondly, when your mindset is all set up, definitely check out
this next book, which is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is one of the basic cornerstones of self-help and self-management. And it changed my life because I used to think that I was a victim of every circumstance. I used to blame my parents for a lot of things that happened to me. I couldn't become a Chinese pop star. It's all your fault. I had to run my family's restaurant instead of being able to pursue my music career when I had television shows in China who were offering me opportunities to go there and sing. And at the time, I was just so angry and bitter, and I blamed my parents. I said, if it wasn't for this stupid Chinese restaurant, I could go and pursue my dreams. But really, is that the case? Because in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Kofi talks a lot about how you attribute blame to others when really the issue is always yourself. Because what I could have done was say, screw you, restaurant. I am Celine Dion level and I'm peacing out, right? Celine Dion certainly would have. Madonna definitely did. All these superstars, they left behind significant sacrifices to the detriment of their personal and family lives to pursue a wild dream. Did I have the guts to do that? Let's be honest. Clearly I didn't. And so is it really my parents' fault because they needed me to help out? No, it's my own fault for not having the belief, the self-belief to go after my own dreams and make it happen. So don't ever look to others, your boss, your spouse, your children. Those are all your own decisions. You decided to be part of those people's networks. Fine, you hate your job, your boss sucks. Well, who told you to be an employee? Why didn't you save up well and become an investor so that you don't have to work anymore, right? It's always you that messed up. It's always your fault. Because every time you look for an example to prove that you're right as the victim, there's someone else in a worse situation than you who is doing 1,000 times better. We hear of stories all the time of people who have managed to live amazing lives despite being in a terrible situation. So what excuse do you have? You have none. So that's what I love about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Another concept they talk a lot about is to start with the end in mind, which is crucial. When you do something in your life, don't do it because you just want to or you're just going to give it a shot. You got to start out with the end in mind. You have one life to live. You got to plan it strategically. You can't keep learning on your own dime. That is ridiculous. You don't have 9 lives to relive and to re-experiment. You only have one. So if you mess up, you mess up. And you have to make up for that later in your old age. Another book that really helped me get my finances and my next step in order once I became a headhunter and started to make really good money is number 3, The Millionaire Next Door. This is by Thomas Stanley. He's a doctor a PhD who did a ton of research on wealth and what is the meaning of wealth and what really is wealth. And what that book really tells you is that wealth is not about how much income you make. So a lot of times people go after the income, right? They're always looking for more money, when really you should be thinking about how to live smarter. How do you cut your current expenses? How do you keep your overhead low? And how do you invest? Most people are just trying to do the slowest route to get rich, which is the save and save and save route, if they even save at all. Many people don't even save. So The Millionaire Next Door just highlights to you, really, millionaires are not those people who have Rolexes and live in fancy condos and fly around in yachts. Those are not millionaires. Those people are most likely one step away from being broke. And so it really breaks down the fear of becoming one of the herd, becoming one of the many, is that just because your colleagues are doing something does not mean you should be. And I saw that firsthand as a headhunter. We were all 20s. We were all in our 20s making, 150, 200, some people 300, right? People were making ridiculous amounts of money at a very young age. And what did they do? They wasted it all. Many people I know have been making 150, 200 for many, many years, and they're still in debt and they have no net assets. All of their money was spent on partying, vacations, lavish lifestyle, $5,000, $4,000, $3,000 rent a month. When you add all that up and you take into account taxes, that's another thing people never think about. When you're a W-2 employee, you only really have half of what you make because of taxes, right? Social Security tax, federal, state, income tax, all of that eats up your actual earnings. So it doesn't matter that you make 200 because you're only really taking home about 110. And that 110, if you're spending 50 grand of it on rent, then look, you only have 60 left. That's to cover everything else, your food, your travel. When you, at the end of the day, you account for everything you spend, you're lucky if you even have 30,000 extra, right? And 30,000 extra, you put it into a stock account, ultimately it's not going to free you up and make you a millionaire. 30 grand a year is not going to make you a millionaire, right? So that is not how wealth works. And The Millionaire Next Door tells you why. The last book I want to say that everyone should read is absolutely Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's by Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, that book has made me hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. That book is a game changer. I read it in college. I was a sophomore on spring break in Mexico, and I was reading on the beach, and I couldn't put it down because it just made so much sense to me. It almost made me think, why am I even in college? And ultimately, I was in college because, again, I was totally lost, had no idea what to do with my life, had no self-confidence to do what I wanted. I just was following the herd. So college for me was a rite of passage. It's what people in my demographic do, especially with the parents that I have. There is no other option as an Asian American, who was born to a family of very highly educated immigrants. There is nothing else for you except college. And I was already an underperformer in their eyes because I couldn't make it to any Ivy League, right? I'm at Babson. Babson at the time is not what Babson is today. This like super, super, super awesome elite school. I mean, certainly when I went there, I really wasn't studying very much. I was really getting by because I'm a good writer and I could get away with writing essays, sort of night before and still get pretty good grades. And, I had decent enough social skills that I knew who to suck up to and which teachers to suck up to and which classmates to align myself with during group work. But Rich Dad Poor Dad really just breaks down the fallacies of today's herd-like thinking. Get more degrees, go back to school, get more. My parents were so obsessed with it. My mom, she almost disowned me. Right? She was like, I don't want you to be my daughter anymore if you don't go to law school. And I told her, I don't want to go to law school because I read Rich Dad and Poor Dad in my head. And I knew that is not going to land me in a good position because 3 years out of my life, that would make me 26, $200,000 worth of debt. That would set me back. And really, what would I have if I can't get a law job? What if I don't like the law career? When you commit to a technical field, when you commit to any technical field, trust me, you're taking a huge risk with your life if you're not doing it because you absolutely love it. Did I love law? Hell no. Did I care at all? Not a bit. So I knew in my head I was not going to be a good lawyer and I should not even go after that career because I didn't want to do that job. I don't care how much it pays. I don't think that it played to my strengths. Rich Dad Poor Dad helps you think on your own and to really create the life that you want to live, not what someone else wants you to live. Overall, this is not certainly the comprehensive list. This is just a few books I would recommend right now. And certainly down the line, I will be publishing more podcasts on other books that you can read once you're finished with all of these suggestions. I hope DG Recruit is helping you understand the realities, challenges, and opportunities when it comes to headhunting and recruitment. Whether you're already a top biller or an aspiring headhunter, I'd love to get to know you. Sign up at donnaglobal.com to stay in touch on all aspects of career coaching and headhunting. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll see you there. Thanks for tuning in to DG Recruit. This has been a production of Donna Global.